One day, Buddha sat under the Bodhi tree, surrounded by a group of his devoted disciples in silence. His serene presence radiated tranquility, instilling a profound stillness among those who came seeking wisdom. A sculptor among the disciples stepped forward, his face shadowed with frustration, longing for guidance from the enlightened one. "Master," said the sculptor, bowing respectfully, "I struggle to create beauty, for my thoughts are restless and cloud my hands." She doubts whether her craft serves Dharma or fosters attachment, he said. Buddha looked at Ananda, his gaze calm, eyes reflecting deep compassion for the struggling soul. "Before you shape the external, you must first sculpt the internal," he continued. "For art is the mirror of the soul." The sculptor listened, his heart trembling under the weight of these words, yearning to grasp their profound significance. The disciples leaned in attentively, their breaths steady as they absorbed every word resonating through the stillness. "Buddha, the weaver asks if her trade traps men in craving for wealth and splendor." The disciples murmured in agreement, their eyes fixed on the still water, its clarity embodying the Buddha's teaching. The sculptor knelt beside the lake, observing its surface, seeking to understand the tranquility the Buddha had described. No leaf clings to the branches forever. Attachment and craving lead only to sorrow. His words carried the weight of lifetimes, sowing seeds of reflection in the minds of all who listened. "But Master," another disciple interjected hesitantly, "the weaver creates robes for monks, garments for laborers, and veils for merchants. Is her work impure?" Buddha turned his gaze toward the questioning disciple, his calm aura extending reassurance as the disciple spoke. "When a weaver toils for necessity, her intentions flow like a clear stream, pure, nurturing life without boundaries," Buddha explained. "When one weaves for vanity, the threads bind ignorance, creating nets that entangle sentient beings in samsara." The forest echoed with birdsong, harmonizing with Buddha's measured voice, making his words feel alive, timeless. He began his practice the following morning, sitting in meditation before touching his tools, listening deeply to his breath. Days turned to weeks, and the sculptor's heart softened, his work transforming as he attained peace within his own being. What once felt clumsy now flowed like a melody, revealing the intricate wisdom embedded within his mind's tranquility. The disciples witnessed his transformation with amazement, seeing how his sculptures radiated an unspoken truth from their contours. "Tell her this," Buddha said, his voice firm yet soothing. "Sit by the river, watch its flow, seek the reflection of her thoughts." The disciples exchanged thoughtful glances, beginning to perceive the subtle profundity in even such seemingly simple advice. In mindfulness, each thread becomes meaningful. Attachment dissolves when work becomes an offering to life itself, Buddha added. And so, the robe for monks no longer embodies attachment. The cloth for merchants reflects utility, not greed. His explanation illuminated the nuanced balance between intention and action, kindling a spark of clarity within each disciple. Ananda bowed respectfully, recognizing the enduring wisdom imparted to alleviate suffering through understanding and perspective. Buddha continued, addressing all gathered under the Bodhi tree. "Compassion lies in service. The weaver need only hold compassion in her heart. The threads shall follow." The afternoon light bathed the assembly, as these words cascaded through the gathered followers like a refreshing spring rain. "Master," asked an elderly woman in the gathering, her hands folded humbly, "but how do we cultivate compassion when the world often breeds cruelty?" Buddha observed her with genuine care before answering. "As the river erodes stone through time, compassion softens cruelty. Begin within. Let it ripple outward." The woman bowed her head, expressing silent gratitude for the wisdom revealed in Buddha's response. "The weaver," Buddha emphasized, "is not alone in her path. The weaver listened, his heart stirring, thoughts of rejection slowly dissolving in the pool of the Buddha's wisdom. How do I endure the ridicule that often accompanies simplicity? Master? The weaver asked, his voice trembling with vulnerability. Mindful weaving reflects the Dharma, an art of harmonizing needs and offering freely without attachment. The group marveled at his clarity, inspired to weave the same understanding into their lives, actions, and perspectives. Even the wind carried his teachings into the treetops, whispering truths for nature to acknowledge within the eternal cycle. Ananda then stood among the group, addressing everyone inspired by Buddha's compassion and unyielding wisdom. Let us share this lesson with the weaver who came seeking, and show her that her craft can serve Dharma. The disciples bowed deeply toward Buddha, filled with reverence for his teachings and inspired to act with compassion. Mindfulness. Days passed, and villagers marveled at the weaver's transformation, finding solace within the fabric crafted from his unwavering compassion. Master, the weaver said, approaching the Buddha, your guidance has freed me to create with joy and gratitude. Unshaken by judgment, let her weave for liberation, not bondage, and discover the enlightenment in impermanence. Another day, Buddha walked among the shaded trees near the riverbank, his disciples close behind, their footsteps quiet in reverence. The rustling leaves whispered songs of nature's harmony, embracing the group as they settled beneath the wide canopy. A merchant approached from afar, his gait weary, his fine robes stained with the dust of long travel. The merchant bowed low before Buddha, his forehead nearly touching the ground, seeking solace from the burdens he bore. Blessed One, the merchant said, his voice faltering, I trade silks across many lands, but doubt has clouded my heart. Buddha regarded him with calm eyes, his gaze steady as the endless flow of the river beside them. Speak, traveler, Buddha said gently, his tone inviting truth. Lay bare the troubles that pull at your mind, for understanding begins with honest reflection. The merchant lifted his head, his eyes meeting Buddha's, burdened by guilt and uncertainty. Master, he began, the silks I sell are coveted for their beauty, yet their creation carries pain, unseen by buyers. The disciples exchanged glances, their curiosity piqued, as the merchant continued speaking. Laborers toil in harsh conditions to dye and weave, but their efforts remain hidden beneath the fabric's sheen, he said. Buddha nodded, his expression thoughtful, his presence unshaken as he absorbed the merchant's words. You feel the weight of these unseen hands, yet you continue your trade, Buddha observed. His statement was neither an accusation nor a praise, but a mirror reflecting the reality. The merchant lowered his gaze, shame flickering within his eyes. I know not how to act. Master, he admitted. Do I abandon my trade? Or can my path be redeemed? The river hummed softly in the background, its unceasing flow a reminder of life's continuous cycles. Buddha turned his attention to a nearby banyan tree, its roots reaching deep into the soil, supporting its towering branches. A merchant's work is like this tree, he began, his voice measured, weaving wisdom into each syllable. Its shade provides comfort, its roots bind the earth, and its fruits nourish many lives. The disciples listened intently, their focus unbroken, eager to glean insight from Buddha's words. However, Buddha continued, if the tree grows tall without grounding its roots, it topples, destroying what it sought to provide. The merchant nodded slowly, his brows furrowed in thought, digesting the analogy that resonated deeply. Master, he asked, his voice tinged with urgency, how can I ground my trade like the tree's roots? Guide me, please. Buddha smiled faintly, an expression of infinite patience, as he gestured toward the river that flowed beside them. The river tells its story, Buddha began, his tone steady as the current. It flows without selfish intent, nourishing all who depend upon it. The merchant tilted his head, listening intently, as Buddha continued speaking. But the river also carries debris, its purity challenged. Yet it does not cease to flow, Buddha said. Master, the merchant interjected cautiously. Does this mean my trade can continue, even with its imperfections? How shall I purify my actions? Buddha turned his gaze to the clear sky, a vast expanse unburdened by boundaries or divisions. Purification begins with mindfulness, Buddha said, his voice imbued with compassion. A merchant is not bound solely by his goods, but by his intentions. The disciples murmured softly among themselves, struck by the simplicity and depth of Buddha's teachings. Speak truth of the silk's origins, their journey from laborers' hands to the hands of those who desire them, Buddha advised. The merchant's eyes widened slightly, as though a veil had lifted, revealing a path unseen before. Truth illuminates the unseen, dissolving ignorance, and fostering a deeper connection among all who partake, Buddha added. But Master, the merchant asked, his tone hesitant, what if my customers reject the truth and turn away? Shall I not suffer loss? Buddha placed his hands gently upon his lap, his posture unwavering, embodying the balance he spoke of. Loss born of truth is liberation. Gain born of deceit is bondage, Buddha explained, his words carrying the weight of eternal wisdom. The merchant bowed his head, his heart heavy with realization, yet lightened by the clarity Buddha imparted. Master, he said humbly, I vow to speak of the hands that create beauty, to honor their toil and sacrifice. Buddha inclined his head slightly, acknowledging the merchant's resolve, his expression serene. Trade with integrity, Buddha concluded, and your path shall align with Dharma, liberating others through mindfulness. The sun descended toward the horizon, casting its golden hues over the assembly. As the merchant rose to depart, thank you, Blessed One, he said, his voice steady, as he turned to leave, carrying Buddha's teachings within his heart. The disciples remained seated, their thoughts immersed in the lessons woven into the day's discourse. Their spirits enriched, Buddha gazed at the flowing river, its ceaseless movement a reflection of life's endless potential for transformation. Another day, Buddha sat beneath the Bodhi tree, his disciples gathering around him in quiet reverence. The air thick with peace. The rhythmic hum of insects filled the forest, harmonizing with the rustling of leaves as nature embraced the tranquil gathering. A seeker approached, holding a bundle in his arms. His steps measured and gaze lowered, embodying humility. He knelt before Buddha, presenting a coarse robe stitched with care, its threads speaking of effort and intention. Master, the seeker said, his voice trembling slightly, I have woven this robe myself, though it feels unworthy of your presence. Buddha's gaze softened as he accepted the offering, his hands cradling the humble garment with silent gratitude. This robe carries a story, Buddha said, his voice calm, resonating with both strength and gentleness. Its threads weave effort, humility, and purpose, a reflection of your inner intentions. The seeker looked at Buddha with eyes full of anticipation, waiting for further wisdom to unfold from his words. Buddha held the robe aloft, letting the sunlight filter through its fabric, illuminating the stitches born of labor and thought. Know this, Buddha continued, what adorns the body cannot adorn the soul. Only the purity of intention can do so. His statement sank deeply into the hearts of his disciples, their faces thoughtful as they pondered the simplicity of his truth. Master, the seeker asked, his voice laden with sincerity, how can I share this truth with others, helping them understand what truly gives worth? Buddha placed the robe upon his lap gently, his movements deliberate, embodying the mindfulness he so often spoke of. Just as the sun rises for all without distinction, Buddha began, so too must wisdom shine upon every soul. The disciples exchanged glances, their silent communication reflecting mutual understanding of Buddha's analogy. Simple yet profound. Share your labor, but speak not of your ego, Buddha added, his tone steady as the river beside them. The seeker leaned in, absorbing the teachings deeply, his heart awakening to the interconnectedness Buddha so often revealed through his words. Let humility guide your actions. Let interconnectedness inspire your journey, and the fabric of truth will envelop all, Buddha said. The forest seemed to listen intently, its sounds merging with the words spoken, creating an ethereal harmony of nature and wisdom. Master, the seeker asked hesitantly, how do we combat pride when achievement tempts us to stray from humility's path? Buddha gazed toward the horizon, the sun casting golden hues across the land. Pride clouds the vision, disconnects the soul, and binds the spirit, Buddha replied. Its antidote lies in acknowledging impermanence. His explanation flowed through the assembly like a cool stream, refreshing minds weighed down by lingering questions of inner struggle. Humility, Buddha continued, is the recognition of one's transient existence, a surrender to interconnectedness, dissolving the illusion of self-centered importance. The seeker bowed his head, silently expressing gratitude for Buddha's guidance, which illuminated pathways he had never before considered. The disciples listened, their hearts heavy with contemplation and lightened with clarity, their silent nods affirming their comprehension of Buddha's teachings. O Master, the seeker spoke again, his voice now steady. What shall become of those who reject this wisdom? Buddha turned his gaze upward, his face serene, his expression embodying infinite patience. They are not lost, for wisdom cannot be destroyed. It awaits its time like the seeds buried within the earth. The seeker felt inspired, his doubts dissolving as he realized the eternal nature of truth and the need for patience. Teach without expectation, offer without attachment, and wisdom will find its way. Guided by the light of compassion, Buddha concluded. The sun dipped toward the horizon, bathing the assembly in soft light, harmonizing with the peaceful aura emanating from Buddha's presence. The seeker rose, carrying the teachings as much as the robe, his heart imbued with the essence of interconnectedness. Master, he said, bowing deeply, I will share humility, effort, and wisdom as you have shown, and inspire others to reflect. Buddha smiled faintly, his approval conveyed through his silent but warm demeanor. The disciples dispersed slowly, their minds immersed in the lessons woven through the day's discourse, their spirits enriched with understanding. Buddha's gaze lingered upon the horizon, his presence as steady and timeless as the flow of the eternal river. He continued, meditation aligns us with this truth, allowing us to find peace within ourselves. Even amidst physical strain, the woodsman knelt, his bundle placed gently on the forest floor, his heart lighter with newfound understanding. Thank you for watching. Buddha's teachings are always with you. Subscribe to our channel and we will see you in the next video.